So we're out here today in Hunting Simulator 2 for the first time in right about 5 years, because for the first time on this channel, we're going to talk about Hunting Simulator 3, which is coming in fall of this year. Now, a new video just came out on the Nacon Hub YouTube channel, and they talk about the SimFauna, and I really feel for the first time, we get a good glimpse into what the gameplay in Hunting Simulator 3 is going to be. So I want to talk about that, but first things first, here is the video explaining everything you need to know.
Hello everyone. Today we're happy to tell you a bit more about a tool that we developed that aims to recreate the wildlife ecosystem at a macro level and make hunting feel more immersive. We've called it the SimFauna. Thanks to SimFauna, every animal in the game follows realistic life cycles. You'll encounter juveniles, adults, and even older specimens, each with its own characteristics, behavior, and routines. Those behaviors aren't random. They're dictated by biological needs: feeding, drinking, resting, and reacting to their environment. It's up to you to observe these patterns and learn their habits. Your decisions will have tangible consequences on the ecosystem. Each animal also has its own DNA score, influencing its traits. By selectively hunting animals with weaker genetics, you can shape future generations. For example, removing white-tailed deer with smaller antlers can help future generations grow larger, more impressive ones. Genetic code also plays a huge role in some animal species, because a specimen with strong genetics can become the leader of the herd. Kill this alpha, and another leader with the next best DNA will take over. SimFauna also incorporates interactions between predators and prey. You might, for example, catch a bobcat stalking prey or a wolf pack coordinating a hunt. But be careful. Predators and big game may sometimes change targets if something more interesting catches their attention, including you. Thank you for joining us for this new video. We can't wait to share more with you in the coming months until the launch this fall.
I've always said Hunting Simulator 2 for the most part looked pretty good. It was just the animal models that really held the game back. Looking at the trailer there for Hunting Simulator 3, I think there's a notable upgrade even just in the environment, comparing it to the Bandera region here in Hunting Sim 2. Now, I don't know what we're looking at the very beginning there with a couple of monitors and stuff. Those whitetail don't look all that good, and weirdly enough, I kind of think they look like the whitetail here in Hunting Sim 2. Later on, as you guys saw, there's some pretty solid looking whitetail models, so I'm not sure what's up with that. I'm assuming maybe it's just a development thing and they're maybe not like, fully polished or whatever, but I wanted to point that out because I was a little bit confused by that as they were going in. Now they mentioned every animal in the game will follow realistic life cycles, and by the way, the environment as they're talking about that stuff is stunning. The bison I think look really good. The elk I'm maybe not as high on, but I think they're solid. I'd like to see a little bit more of them, especially like big ones, what their antlers look like and all that. But the antlers, like in Hunting Sim 2, were frankly real bad. What we've seen thus far in Hunting Sim 3, definitely a whole lot better. Now, we get to see juvenile animals. I think it was only this boar. I didn't notice any other ones. If there were, I missed them and I watched the trailer multiple times, writing stuff down. I think this is going to be the first kind of mainstream hunting game, at least in a very long time, to actually have juvenile animals. So there's going to be juveniles, adults, and older specimens, each with their own characteristics, behavior, and routines. This has massive potential to be really cool if it's implemented realistically. We'll have to see. But like, if an old buck starts to see his core area shrink, and he becomes less social with other deer, like maybe he's not in zones where there's a bunch of does or other bucks hanging around, that kind of thing. If he becomes more wary, etc., like that could be super cool. We do see, I just mentioned zones, feeding, drinking, and resting all exist within the game as well. I do hope it's not like too deterministic on where the animals are going to be. Like, I really do feel kind of like free roaming for the most part. Still within, going to maybe an area to feed, an area to drink, an area to rest, but not one specific spot day after day. I think that could be awesome. We'll have to see. I just hope it's not too predictable. I do kind of expect it might be, though, and we'll get into that. By the way, I hope these bighorn horns get, like, a little bit of love. They're not bad, but I don't know, it feels too circular, and there's not enough mass at the bases and stuff. One of the better animals, I thought, in Hunting Sim 2 were the bighorn. Now, of course, we saw in the gameplay trailer, and I'm probably including some clips from that trailer from probably a month and a half ago or so in this video as well, that albino buck, I don't love the face, and it feels a little bit stocky to me, but older deer, as they gain muscle mass and, like, their guts get bigger and stuff, they do kind of get stockier in appearance, so if that's an old buck, you know, maybe it could be good. We know aging seems to exist. They never said explicitly animals do age, but I'm assuming they do. They said life cycles. Now, this big buck's model, I thought looked a lot better than the albino. Like, the face looked a lot more clean and realistic. I don't love the rack, like, it's kind of angular and rough, but we're not at release yet, so maybe that will get cleaned up. We'll have to see. I'm definitely encouraged, though, by the whitetail. A whole lot better than they are here in Hunting Sim 2. Now, animals will have genetics, which, like Way of the Hunter, you can call the weaker animals to improve, like, future generations of animals and get bigger trophies from doing so. I have been critical of this in the past. I do feel like you get to a point where once you've managed your herds and you're getting like a whole lot of trophies, now you're just farming for those trophy animals to show up. That doesn't mean that Hunting Sim 3 is going to work exactly the same way, and I'm hoping that it won't. There's a lot of ways that I think it could be done better. One is not having the animals go to like the exact same spot for their zones day after day after day. But also, like, if the genetics aren't just simply, like, going up every time you remove a weaker animal, if there's more to it than that, like, I think it could actually be really cool. If maybe you're removing weak racks and stuff, but there could still be animals with stronger genetics that maybe just don't have as big a racks, maybe till they grow older, or that kind of thing. I also hope that, you know, like, the best trophies maybe don't always have to be a product of intense management. If exploration is rewarded, if going out and checking spots that maybe you don't have managed super well can still produce big trophies, I think a genetic-based system is fine. I just hope it's not literally like hyper-manage 3 spots and farm those areas. Now, they mentioned genetics within predators, and I thought it was cool, although the more I thought about it, I'm not sure it does anything. Like, they said killing the alpha will cause a new animal with the second strongest DNA to become the new leader. But, like, this is where I hope what I was just talking about with the genetics is true. I don't know why you would kill the strongest genetics in a pack, unless it is, you know, like a true trophy. Because otherwise you'd be taking out the weaker genetic ones. I don't know, and I'm not sure how well you can identify that. Like, will there be some sort of spotting info or something? I don't know. It seems cool, though, that, like, the highest genetic animal will lead the pack. And we did see, like, you know, between juvenile, adult, and older animals, there's different behaviors and stuff. Maybe the age of the alpha will dictate kind of like how the pack acts, how aggressive they are, how docile they are, etc. They showed the bobcat chasing the rabbit. I thought that was super neat. Predator-prey interactions should add life to the game. I'm looking forward to that. I thought the bobcat looked pretty good. Rabbit, not too bad. And then they show, like, the animals can attack. We saw a mountain lion and the bear. I actually thought the bear charging generally looked really good. Maybe a bit slow, but I'm not really mad about, like, animals attacking slowly in games. It gives players a chance to get on target and make a shot or whatever. I thought, like, the lumbering, though, looked pretty good. I'm a little, like, undecided with that bear. The model almost feels like it's too long, but like a big old bear, as they age and as they keep growing, they will start to look that way. So I think this is something we'll need to see more of, like, get to compare a young bear, an adult bear, and like an older bear. If they're all super, like, kind of long like that, I don't think that works. If that is a product of, like, a specifically old bear, I actually thought for the most part it looked really good. And the face and stuff as it was charging, maybe my favorite model thus far. I'm going to try to, like, slow-mo because it was only for just a second, but I did think it looked pretty good. Overall, this is the most encouraged I've been for Hunting Simulator 3 thus far. There's been, like, some trailers and stuff that I've not covered here on the channel, frankly because I didn't feel like they gave us a very good glimpse into what the game was going to be. Now we have a pretty good idea. Genetics-based system, with juvenile animals, with adults, with older specimens. Culling genetics, and I actually thought, by the way, the whitetail racks were pretty good. Like, the weak genetics that were kind of like weird little short tines, curls to them that didn't look all that great, but, you know, racks that could be on a decently old buck, just with weaker genes. As long as it's not too repetitive, I think Hunting Simulator 3 could be really good. Without more information, that's about the most I can say on it. Like, I think it could be good. It's going to depend how they implement it, but you could probably say that about just about any game. But I will say, definitely looks a whole lot better than Hunting Sim 2. And it feels like it should be more immersive. It should be more in-depth gameplay. And that is definitely really encouraging. So I wanted to cover that. Like I said, this was the first time I really felt like we had a good glimpse into the game. The last trailer, which showed some of the same stuff as this video did. One of the things that, like, I didn't like was the dog. It looked insanely fat. This dog here, like, model-wise, isn't so bad. So, I don't know. Some of those little things, like the rough edges on stuff, like the whitetail rack I mentioned, the bighorn horns, the dog that's had 1,000 too many treats, if those sorts of things can be cleaned up, most of my kind of critiques of what I've seen for Hunting Sim 3 thus far are more on the visual side. Gameplay-wise, now we know what it's going to be like. We'll just have to see exactly how those things are implemented. But with that, I think that's going to do it for this video. So as always, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.